Good day students. Today I am going to tell you about tenses. What are tenses? The word tense is derived from the Latin word tempus, which means time. It is a form in which a verb is used to express when an action is, was or will be performed. That means tense depend on the time. And on basis of the time, we can divide tenses into three types: present tense, past tense and future tense. In the last class, I told you about present tense. In this class, I am going to tell you about past tense. What is the past tense? Past tense is used to express an action or event or condition that has happened in the past. That means the work that was started in the past and also completed in the past. It has nothing to do with the present. Each tense has four aspects that talks about the completion of the event or action. And these four types are simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense. Let's start with simple past tense. What is simple past tense? The simple past tense is used to indicate or describe something that happened or existed in the past. That means it was started in the past and also completed in the past. For example, I played, he, she played. In simple past tense, the second past form of verb is used. When simple past tense is used, the first use is it is used to describe an action, event or condition that occurred in the past or at a specified time. That means when specific time of the past is given in 1993, that means then we use simple past tense. Yesterday, last week. For example, she died in 1987. Next use is to refer or describe an action that has been completed and there is no time mentioned. In the previous example, time is mentioned, but if time is not mentioned but the work has been done in the past, then also we use simple past tense. I bought this pen in Mumbai. Next use is when the time of action is asked for. When we are just talking about the action that was done in the past. For example, when did you meet him? Sometimes for past habits that are long over. For example, she always carried a pink umbrella. Now I am going to tell you how the simple past tense form. First, we are just going to study about how to form simple past tense in affirmative sentences. Subject plus verb in past tense. That means we use second form of verb plus object. We ate some lovely pizzas last night. Here ate is the past form of eat and the time is last night. Time is also given here. Now I am just going to tell you how to form simple past tense through this table. I washed the car, you washed the car, he or she washed the car, we washed the car, they washed the car. You just see in all these examples we use past form of the verb plus object. As the subject changes, there is no effect on verb and object. It remains same. Next is the formation of simple past tense in negative. In negative sentence, we use helping verb did not to make it negative. Subject plus did plus not plus. Now in this we use base form of verb. That means first form of verb along with the object. For example, here subject is Jim. Jim did not finish his homework. Finish is the first form of verb that we use along with the did not. Now, simple past tense in negative sentences the same examples are there, but in previous example we use second form of verb, that means washed, but now in negative we did not, we use base form of verb wash. I did not wash the car, you did not wash the car, he or she did not wash the car, we did not wash the car, they did not wash the car. Now in all the examples we have just taken did not to make it negative and base form of verb wash. Now next is how to form past simple in interrogative sentences. In interrogative sentences, to make it interrogative we just add did before the subject, and again as did is used in this we use base form of verb, that means first form of verb, and at the end we put question mark. Did you listen to the music last night? Now you just see I washed the car. This sentence is in affirmative. How to change into interrogative? We just add did before the subject and wash becomes wash. Did I wash the car? And at the end we have to put question mark. Did you wash the car? Did he or she wash the car? Did we wash the car or did they wash the car? Next is past continuous tense. Continuous means the work that is going on, and the past refer to the time that has gone. That means if we are just talking about a particular point of time in the past and at that time that the work was going on, for that we use past continuous tense. Past continuous tense is used to indicate an ongoing event in the past. For example, I was playing, he or she was playing, you were playing. When we use past continuous tense, its first use is show that someone is in the middle of an action. That means the action was going on, it was not yet completed at the time of that period. For example, I was calling him when he came home. That means when he came home, at that time I was making him call. Next is describe an action taking place when another occurred. For example, while they were painting the door, I was painting the windows. Both the actions were going on at the same time. Next is talk about an action that was taking place in the past when an interrupted action happened. For example, while he was working on his laptop, he fell asleep. Now let's see the formation of past continuous tense, how this tense is formed. How do we form the past continuous tense in affirmative sentences? In this we use auxiliary verbs was or were and present participle form of verb. That means whatever be our verb is, we have to add ing with it. Andy was cooking dinner. Here Andy is your subject and cooking is present participle. Now Andy was cooking dinner. Formation of past continuous tense in affirmative sentences. Let's see through this table. Now in this we use was or were according to the subject. With I, he, she we use was, and with you, we, they we are using auxiliary verb were. And the eating present participle verb will remain same with all the example. I was eating the apple, you were eating the apple, he or she was eating the apple, we were eating the apple, they were eating the apple. Now to make past continuous tense in negative. To make it negative, we have to simply add not with the auxiliary verb was or were. If our subject is it, he, she, we use was not, and with they, we and plural nouns we use were not. Subject plus was were plus not plus present participle plus object. They were not enjoying the meeting. Let's see through this table. This table was same as we have just learned in the previous in affirmative sentences. Now to make it negative, we have to simply add not along with these auxiliary verbs. I was not eating the apple, you were not eating the apple, and so on. You have to add just not along with auxiliary verbs was or were. Now let's see how do we form past continuous tense in interrogative form. To make it interrogative, we have to simply bring was or were auxiliary verb before the subject. Was or were plus subject plus present participle form of verb plus object. For example, were you reading a book? Now you just see this is a table in which there are affirmative sentences. I was eating the apple. Now how to make it interrogative? To make it interrogative, we have to simply bring was or were before the subject. And at the end we have to put question mark. Was I eating the apple? Were you eating the apple? Was he or she eating the apple? Were we eating the apple? Were they eating the apple? So it is very simple to make interrogative form. Now let's discuss the next tense, that is past perfect tense, that is also called past of past. The past perfect tense in a sentence or conversation describes an event that happened in the past before another event in the simple past tense was completed in the past. So that is why it is called past of the past. For example, I had played. He or she had played. When past perfect tense is used, past perfect tense is used to indicate an event that has occurred and has been completed in the past. That means it was started in the past and it also completed in the past. For example, Meenu had borrowed money from the bank to buy her new car. Next use is to describe an event or action which happened before a definite time in the past. That means we had cleaned up the terrace before the watchman arrived. That means before the action was taken place by the watchman, before that we have cleaned the terrace. Next use is describe an action that happened in the past before another action took place. For example, we had reached their house after the dinner was over. Now let's see how to form past perfect tense. Past perfect tense in affirmative sentences. Subject plus had plus past participle form of verb plus object. Past participle form, that means third form of verb. She had replaced the light bulb before she electrocuted herself. That means the action has already been done before the another action took place. Let's see the formation of sentences in affirmative sentence through this table. Now you just seen all the examples we have used had. In past perfect tense we use only auxiliary verb had along with the past participle form of verb eaten. I had eaten the cake, you had eaten the cake, he or she had eaten the cake. So this is going on. Next is how to form past perfect tense in negative. To form negative, we have to simply add not with auxiliary verb had. So subject plus had plus not plus past participle form of verb plus object. So we simply add not with helping verb had. For example, Andy had not bought a new umbrella. Now to make it negative, I had been before. Here been is used as a past participle form of be. And to make it negative, we have to simply add not along with auxiliary verb had in all these examples. For example, I had not been before, you had not been before, he or she had not been before, and that is going on. We had not been before, they had not been before. Now to how to make it interrogative sentences. To make it interrogative or question sentence, we have to bring auxiliary verb had before the subject. Had plus subject plus past participle form of verb plus object, and as it is an interrogative sentence, so at the end we add question mark also. For example, had they organized a party before? Now let's see, these are the affirmative sentences. I had eaten the cake, you had eaten the cake. To make it interrogative, we have to simply bring had before the subjects. Had I eaten the cake? Question mark. Had you eaten the cake? So you just see in all the examples we have used had before the subject and question mark at the end. Now let's continue with the last form of verb, that is past perfect continuous tense. When it is used to describe actions that were going on in the past up until another action in the past happened. For example, I had been playing, he or she had been playing. Now in this, for showing it perfect, we have used past participle form of be, been, and for continuous we have used present participle form of verb, that is playing. Past perfect continuous tense is used for an action that has occurred over a period of time having begun in the past. For example, the baby had been crying for 10 minutes when the nurse attended to her. That means the baby was continuing to cry till the nurse had taken her. In the reported speech, where the present perfect continuous tense becomes past perfect continuous tense. For example, Sahil said to me, I have been waiting for you 2 hours. In indirect speech, it becomes Sahil told me that he had been waiting for me for 2 hours. Now in this, present perfect continuous tense change into past perfect continuous tense. Now let's see how past perfect continuous tense formed. In affirmative sentence, past perfect continuous formed by using the formula subject plus had plus been plus present participle form of verb plus object. For example, James had been baking a cake. Now in this, whatever be our subject is, we use auxiliary verb had. Let's see how past perfect continuous tense form in affirmative sentences through this table. Now in this, subjects are I, you, he, she, we, they, and with all subject we use auxiliary verb had, been plus present participle form of verb swimming. Now let's see how to form past perfect continuous tense in negative. For making it negative, we have to simply add not along with the auxiliary verb. And what is the auxiliary verb in this? Obviously it is had. So it becomes subject plus had plus not plus been plus present participle form of verb plus object. For example, Lane hadn't been running the race for long, but it was very tired. Now let's see how to form it negative through this table. Now you just see these are the affirmative sentences. I had been swimming. Now to change it into negative, we have to simply add not along with had. So it becomes I had not been swimming, you had not been swimming, he or she had not been swimming, we had not been swimming, and they had not been swimming. Now let's see how to make past perfect continuous tense in interrogative. To make it interrogative, we have to bring auxiliary verb had before the subject. So had plus subject plus been plus present participle form of verb plus object, and at the end we have to put question mark. For example, how long had the policeman been chasing the robber before he caught him? Now just see how to form this interrogative sentences through this table. These are the affirmative sentences, and to make it in interrogative we have to bring auxiliary verb had before the subject. So it becomes had I been swimming, and at the end we have to put question mark. In all the examples we have bring had before the subject, and at the end there is a question mark. I hope this tense will be clear to you. Thank you. Have a nice day.